Hello, beloved twin flames. This is Stephanie Parasha, Divine Light, coming out to you from New Zealand, Aotearoa, with another update and pretty much a continuation from the last video that I put out around deeper loving and letting go. And this experience of opening up to this deeper place of love has led me on quite a journey the last couple of days, and so I'm going to share with you where I've been and where I hope that you may also fear to tread as well. And in this journey I've been using the analogy or the metaphor of water and deep diving and going beyond our comfort zone and diving into the area of fear, being able to dive deep. And so I'm going to kind of explore some of the places that I dove to because I thought, okay, I'm telling everyone else to do this. What does that actually mean for me? And when I went down the path of, that means I have to open up more to my twin flame and all of this kind of stuff, I actually realized that even I wasn't ready for that place, and I needed to equip myself with some more tools before I was actually ready to dive deep. So for some of you that may have listened to that last video and got all excited and gone, yeah, I'm ready to dive deep and I'm ready to express my love and open to a deeper love, and I'm going to go off and talk to my twin flame. And I had also talked about being careful not to, when you dive deep, take your fears with you. And so for some of us that are still deciding how to do this, to go about this, there are a few more tools and a bit more preparation. Perhaps rather than for some of us, especially those of us that have experienced a lot of trauma in our life and have a lot of wounding, and going into those deep dive places, which is where the fears are, is extremely confronting and extremely terrifying. And so I just want to take a step back or two and let's just do a little bit more preparing ourselves and for actually being ready enough and being prepared enough to do that deep dive. And I'm going to use the analogy of, again, this boat and diving deep. And I saw in this journey, there was a video quite some time ago that I put out around the twin flame journey, where a lot of us had got onto this boat, this twin flame experience. It was this big giant cruise ship, and we're cruising out in the water, and we thought we're going on this romantic cruise holiday out into these beautiful ocean places where we can go to these islands and it's hot and sunny. But of course, we came across stormy waters, we came across shark-infested waters, we hit icebergs of realizing that we were only, just looking at the surface of our problems and needed to go deeper. We realized that we were carrying way too much luggage and we needed to throw some of that luggage off of the ship. Some of the people that threw their luggage off were quite happy to continue on without it. Some people jumped in after their luggage and didn't want to let it go. And now there's so much to this journey, and we've been preparing now as we've got out into these deeper waters to learn how to dive, to learn how to go deeper. And what I discovered and what I talked about in my last video, and I do want to quote here, I'm going to put some quote marks in, and I have looked it up on Google and I haven't seen anyone else or heard anyone else use these words, so I'm going to use them here. And I hope for the first time in my life that I'm actually going to have a quote that's going to have my name on it. So here it goes. Okay, so the very part of us that is in the most fear is the very same part of us that opens to a deeper love. Okay, so this is where the portal begins, and where we have to face our greatest fears and to go a little deeper, because that same place in which our fear is hiding and keeping us from is the same place in which we access that deeper love within us. Okay, now going into fear is something that we just do not do. Okay, we are hardwired to and got wired up for survival based reality in which we've come into, and we've developed a wonderful natural instinct, a beautiful mechanism to keep us out of danger, and that is the fight, flight, freeze, and also fawn. Some of you may be aware of response that keeps us out of danger fast, and that is the part of our brain known as which contains the limbic system, otherwise known as the reptilian brain, which keeps us in a state where we can keep ourselves out of harm's way and at all costs avoid coming to harm or pain. So what happens when we come into a threatening place where we may have experienced pain or threat or suffering or wounding in the past? We automatically, our body is hardwired to say, no, we don't go there, we stay out of that place. That's where the pain is. That's where we don't. As soon as we feel that fear, we immediately, quickly try and avoid it at all costs, whether that's running away from it or freezing from it or running away or fighting it, putting up the wall of defense so that we just can't even get there, or perhaps kind of pretending that we can sort of deal with it in a certain way, but actually really it's kind of another form of avoidance or denial of what's actually going on. So, these deep pains are a certain trigger that. So for a lot of people, going and touching on these traumatic, fearful places, we've got to be very, very careful and very, very tender of how we do this, because we can't just say, just dive into your fears and get past it and then you'll find love. And doesn't that just sound wonderful and easy when you put it like that? But actually when you come into a state of gripping fear that's associated with a massive amount of trauma that's very, very complex, because it's screaming, your body's screaming at you, don't go there, just don't go anywhere near there. How are we going to actually do this? So there is a process. And now in my journey of discovery over this last couple of days, I've been drawn to do some research around how to do this. And where it's led me is to the work of a wonderful author and PhD thesis amazing woman who does TED Talks called Brené Brown. Now, I don't know, hopefully if you haven't come across her already, please go and check her out. I'm going to put the link of her videos below. And what she has done with her research around, it started off with researching shame. She discovered the power of vulnerability and how that when we are in the most fearful place in our life, basically it's the place that's going to be the place where you create the most courage from. So it's kind of about being okay. She discovered that it's about being okay with uncertainty, being uncomfortable with the discomfort, but kind of getting on with it anyway, and discovering that she flipped vulnerability around and basically made it the most courageous place that you will ever be. And so vulnerability, therefore, has become this beautiful portal, this beautiful gateway, which I talked about in my last video, is where you have dropped down to the bottom. Perhaps you've hurt yourself on the rocks before, or you've nearly drowned before, or you've sunk to the bottom. But now you've actually seen that there's a crack, there's an opening in the ocean floor that can take you to this kind of amazing, wondrous place. But it means you've got to actually get past some fear, because it could mean that you don't know what's going to be down there. It could mean that you've already hurt yourself before and you don't want to risk doing that again. So the steps towards going down there are definitely past your comfort zone. It's going to involve greater risk and daring, and it's, but again, there is no more appropriate place for us to be at this point on our journey than to be looking into how we can equip ourselves to go a little bit deeper into that place where we know that the fear is, but it's also where we can access the ability within us for a deeper love at the same time. Okay, so how do we go into this dangerous place where, it's, if it doesn't work out, we might have to relive the old wounding, and where we are just absolutely terrified to go. We're gripped with this fear, and it just feels like it, and everything in our whole body and our mind is telling us, just it's not a good idea to go there. Just don't even go into that place. How do we go ahead and be scared and take the chance anyway without further harming ourselves? Okay, so this led me to actually, as I was deepening into this process of listening to these Brene Brown videos on YouTube, and I hope you'll do this too. And then this led me to actually finding some really powerful, useful tools to equip ourselves to take this journey without any further harm to ourselves or others. Okay, so this led me to the work of a woman called Tara Brach. I'm sorry, I'm probably not pronouncing that properly because of the American accent. It'll probably be more like Tara Brach or something like that. Sorry, excuse my American accent. So she talks about, basically the healing that can be found in the power of starting a conscious relationship with the parts of ourselves that we move away from. And she, just in a summary, I'll put the link to her work below, and I just suggest you go and listen to as many of her videos as possible. She is an amazing combination of being a therapist, a psychologist, a PhD, an author of many books, as well as a motivational speaker and a Buddhist meditator, and has these wonderful, wonderful tools, and she just delivers it in the most compassionate, loving, soft, gentle voice, and it's just fantastic stuff. So at this point, if you're wanting to dive a little deeper in this and get equipped and learn how to take this journey of diving into the depths with the appropriate tanks, and I'm just going to bring in my quote here too before I delve into a little bit more of what Tara's been saying. And I got the analogy, metaphor of, okay, so we're going to take this deep dive. Now, we're on this boat and we've gone out, and many have tried and gone before us, and it's been a perilous journey, and they've failed and they've sort of reverted back, and many have said, I'm not going to do this anymore, I'm not going to go any further, it's too scary and it's too dangerous and it's just not worth it. So those of us that are kind of left on this boat, there's a beautiful group of us, and we're a mixture of male and female, but we are predominantly those feminine charged twins, the awakened twins that are together on this journey, that have found each other and found the solidarity in our shared experience of this amazing phenomena that we're going through, and we're here to support each other. So first of all, we're not going to take that deep dive alone. We do it as a team. We do it together because we watch out for each other and we help each other. When one of us looks like we're in trouble, we reach out and the other is there for support. So first of all, you don't have to face this terrifying, dangerous water alone. Second of all, we need to make sure we've got the right tanks that we equip ourselves with as we go down into this deep water. And we also need to practice. We need to take little steps first. We need to start off in the small pool before we're ready to go deep as well. Okay, so we're going to have the tanks are a mixture of course, as always, oxygen. We always need oxygen. This is about mindfulness. This is about pausing and saying, oh, I forgot to breathe. Okay, I need to breathe. So first of all, we're just going to remember to take one breath of oxygen, which is just the pause, the stillness, the moment where you get the connection back to yourself, to spirit, and to your vulnerability, to that place where you do feel scared, and you're able to then give yourself the next breath of the other tank. So there's two tanks. One is oxygen. The second tank is of radical self-love, which is that tank of energy which you have intake of another breath, and it says something self-loving and compassionate and accepting, and gives you the buoyancy to continue. So it's like, even though I feel terrified in this moment, I'm still here for myself. I still love myself, and I'm still okay in this moment. Even though I might be afraid of being judged for not being good enough or looking weird in my swimsuit outfit that I've got on today, or I might feel a little out of place and I don't even know why I'm even here doing this journey, but I'm going to love myself anyway through this. Okay, so we do so when we feel that fear coming up, so we dove in, we're having our first little try, and we feel the fear. Okay, so what Tara suggests is we do what she calls attend and befriend. So we actually attend to the fear. We don't run away from it. We don't go, oh, I can't handle this, and come back up. We go, okay, I'm scared. Just take a breath of the oxygen and become curious with our self-love. We say, okay, what is this? Hello, I'm feeling a little bit scared here. What's this about? Give yourself space, take another breath of oxygen, give yourself the kind of attitude of being slightly curious but gently interested in what this fear might be about. Okay, and give it space. Okay, perhaps you need to come back up to the surface and just have a little rest on the side of the rock pool or the boat, where you give yourself some time and space to give loving presence in a very gradual and spacious way to approach that vulnerability, to approach that fear in a way that gives it attention and love. Okay, so it's being able to live with it and accept it in that moment, and to be present. Now let's bring that analogy and that metaphor back to the actual twin flame relationship with your twin flame. And I would suggest that you go and listen to Tara's video. I'll put the link below, and I think that one, the title is around more intimacy and vulnerability and loving and something in that area. It's all about basically realizing the potential of the relational situation, the relational field in which there is an opportunity for profound healing. It's the most richest place of profound healing that can happen, because nowhere else has there been so much wounding and so much pain and so much fear and so much vulnerability than in the space of relating to each other and opening up those potentials for risk and more wounding and more vulnerability. Okay, so this is an opportunity for you now to think about the analogy, rather than the analogy of diving deep into the water, that you're going to be trying to inch a little closer to your twin flame and seeing what comes up when you take your oxygen mask with you and you take your self-love tank and you just see what it means. And you might not want to do that directly. My suggestion would be that you do that in a healing, safe healing space. So this is about visualizing. So this is the preparation. So you're going to practice it first by holding space for yourself. And this is what I talk about by going deeper. It doesn't necessarily, I'm not talking about diving deep off the end and diving into your twin flame. I'm talking about diving deep within yourself first to see what's inside of you, to see what the fears are. And some amazing stuff came to light for myself. So when I did these exercises and I was looking into some deeper experiences within myself, and I don't necessarily need to share that here with you because it's more of my own personal stuff that was holding me back, that was, relating to my father and so on. So when you go on that journey within you, you'll see these opportunities for healing and what comes up. And it's interesting, the analogy that I also saw, where I feel that this is also healing between the balance of the heart and the mind, where we've used the mind in the past to try and sort of transcend. And I've seen this on the twin flame in the spiritual communities, where we go, okay, we'll just climb to that mountaintop and we'll go really high and we'll go up to spirit and we'll just rise above everything and we'll just reach this higher place where we want to be. And what we're actually doing is another form of avoidance. It's moving away and it's moving up and beyond the fear. But what we're doing here is a totally different direction. And you can see the mountain as a triangle that's facing upwards, an upwards triangle, which represents that masculine approach of going into our mind and spiritual ego to try and get away from the actual feelings. And this place, the feminine place, the opposite triangle of the cave that's in the other direction, is about going deeper into the pain and traveling into it and then transcending it that way. Okay, so this is really feeling the call here to take that risk and to go deeper into the feminine. And she talks about Tara talks about the bottom of that cave, or that sort of deep depth within you, and it's really the heart. Okay, so it's going deeper into your heart and touching the part of you where love never dies. Oh my gosh. So this is again going to that same place, which where the fear is where the love is. It's that same place. And so we meet it in the middle. And yeah, so I just think this is all just such beautiful, a beautiful journey of a beautiful opening. The portal being the vulnerability, but at the same time equipping yourself with the right tools and the right basically equipment that you're going to need to take with you on that journey, recognizing where the place that you're coming from, of having been so wounded in the past and so fearful, and just having to take that journey in a very slow and careful and steady way, where you hold yourself very strongly through it, and you also call on the support of your brothers and sisters in our team to also support you as you travel through that, into that portal, basically. Yeah, so so interesting, so much to do here, and so much more beautiful work about diving deep and being curious, pausing, feeling that place inside of yourself, becoming aware of it, and giving it what it needs, whether it just needs sometimes to be heard, shining the light of awareness on that painful place, on that place that needs predominantly, and 99% of the times, it's going to have a voice of, I'm feeling scared, I feel like I'm not enough, I feel like I'm not going to be loved. So 99% of the time, I'll have to say it's just that place of you that is needing the love more than anything else, and needs to hear that voice of compassionate care. Oh, I'm so sorry that you're so scared and that you're feeling that way, and it's so difficult, and I understand, and I love you. And so that is what we've been talking about the whole way along, back to that, but going deeper with that, being prepared to go deeper inside of yourself, into more of those areas where the caves deep down inside of yourself, where the love is as well, the capacity to love. Because when you're blocking yourself off through your fears and not prepared to take those risks, you're blocking yourself off from the very love that you're trying to find and access. Okay, so I hope you're hearing that message very strongly, and that you will attempt to open up to look at this a little bit more, because twin flames of the groups of people that are out there have the most deepest capacity to love, and I'll have to say probably have had the most wounding and have the most blocks to achieving it, and probably the most fear. So be strong, be powerful, be vulnerable, all of the things together, and be prepared to take that risk, but firstly with yourself, and go gently on yourself, and do it slowly and carefully, and equip yourself with the right support and tools that you need to take that journey into the depths. Okay, sending you out heaps and heaps of love today, and for your journey. And if you'd like to get in touch with me to do a little bit more work around this, or to have a session, please click the link below. Okay, bye for now.